News Hour Special Edition.
Welcome back. Days after one of our trusted lieutenants was arrested, Mamata Banerjee has broken her silence on Anubrata Mondal. Launching a scathing attack on the BJP for Mondal's arrest, Mamata dragged in the Union Home Minister. She alleged that the cattle was being sent in from BJP-ruled state Uttar Pradesh. She raked up the coal scam too, in which her nephew Abhishek Banerjee is under the agency's scanner. Listen in.
উত্তর প্রদেশ থেকে তুমি কেন গরু পাঠাও বাংলা দিয়ে? বিহার থেকে তুমি কেন গরু পাঠাও বাংলা দিয়ে? আমি অনেকবার বলেছি আমাদের বর্ডারে আমরা ঢুকতে দেব না। গরু দেখার দায়িত্ব কার? বিএসএফ এর মিনিস্টার কে? অমিত শাহ, হোম মিনিস্টার। কয়লা কার আন্ডারে?
Well, Anubrata Mondal is the third key accused to be arrested in the Bengal cattle smuggling case after Inamul Haq, also the mastermind in the case, and Saigal Hussain, Mondal's bodyguard. Now remember, the TMC was quick to distance themselves from Partha Chatterjee after mountains of cash were recovered from him. But for now, Mamata Banerjee seems to be backing Anubrata Mondal. Let's open this up and go across to our guests. Shehzad Poonawalla continues to be with us. We are joined by Professor Monojit Mondal of the TMC. Good evening to all of you. Shehzad Poonawalla, the allegation is that the TMC did not allow the Jharkhand government to be toppled by you. That's why this is political vendetta, that the cattle is being sent from Uttar Pradesh. And as far as, an action against cattle smuggling is concerned, the borders are safeguarded by the BSF. So going by that, the BJP is responsible?
So now it all adds up that why, when the BSF's jurisdiction was being increased and so that they could have a wider jurisdiction, who was the party that opposed it and was not allowing BSF to do their job? And by the way, the state administration has a major role to play in this. Every day, I believe, more than some reports suggest 3,000 to 5,000 cows are smuggled every day across the border. It obviously happens with the connivance of these politicians. And who are these politicians? Anubrata Mondal was the same person when the Birbhum massacre happened. He said a TV set had exploded. Now that is his credibility. The credibility of Mamata Banerjee also. You remember when the CBI probes were ordered by the High Court in the SSC scam, at that time she came out and she said that, first of all, she said that she does not believe that there was any scam. And then in the second instance, she said that, no, look, the BJP is influencing the courts. And now finally, when the entire TMC, too much cash was found, that time she sacked Partha after much kicking and screaming. So these are the people who have institutionalized corruption and corrupted every institution. And this is also a scam that goes up not just to Anubrata Mondal, but perhaps to the highest levels. And therefore, they are trying to do this Bhrashtachari Bachao and this cattle smuggler Bachao Andolan, and therefore this is happening. My simple question is that the court has remanded Mr. Mondal for till 20th of August after the CBI filed the case and took him in remand. So if the courts cannot be believed, then who can be believed? Is Mr. Mondal against the courts?
Professor Mondal, please respond to that. Also, why has TMC's stand changed? When it came to Partha Chatterjee, we saw portfolios being taken away from him. We saw his suspension happening. The party seemed to be distancing itself from Partha Chatterjee. In case of Anubrata Mondal, how does it become a conspiracy?
This is apparently a conspiracy. The fact remains that this cow is quote-unquote smuggled out of the country, don't really belong to Bengal. If at all there is any case, the cows are really coming from largely the BJP-ruled state, where we believe that the big ministers are involved. And if at all the cows are getting smuggled out of this country, 1%, 2%, 3% cannot do it. It has to be done in complete connivance with the border security force run under none other than Mr. Amit Shah, representative of Bharatiya Jali Party, fake party of India. If he calls out my party, I will call out his party as Bharatiya Jali Party, the fake party of India. They believe they thrive on fakery. They have been thriving on fakery even on the issue of freedom struggle, on the issue of celebrating that, national flag, which they hated for the most part of their life or their parents' life. RSS, they did not want to unfurl their national flag, our national flag.
But Professor Mondal, let's stick to the topic that we are debating.
Yes.
Let's not mix up issues.
I have to call out the party as fake. That's why I call out the party as fake. Now coming back to the issue of why we are supporting Mr. Anubrata Mandal. There is not a single iota of evidence against this person. He was arrested because he was unchallenged by BJP here in this part of the country. Birbhum and other parts of the district, the BJP were routed because of Anubrata Mandal's credibility,
Then why
because of his
is
popularity.
his bodyguard?
Incidentally, I'm staying in Shantiniketan, Birbhum, from where I'm doing this. And let me tell you, he's so popular. Even all the auto owners, rickshaw saying that he should have been arrested. That's why we had a band yesterday in honor of Anubrata Mandal.
Okay.
The Shantiniketan, the bazaar, local bazaar did not sit. It's a very popular international market.
Okay.
Did not sit in honor of Anubrata Mandal. If I'm wrong, send your crew here.
Okay,
and
Professor Mondal, you're saying that the BSF guards the borders, which comes under the Home Ministry, so the Home Minister is responsible. Yes, so the action needs to be taken against the Home Minister. Then why is it that Anubrata Mandal's bodyguard said, as per the agencies, as per the investigation and interrogation, why did the bodyguard say money from cattle smugglers is given to Mr. Mandal?
Can I reply?
Yes.
So if on the basis of, on the basis of an accused statement, you arrest someone, then on the basis of an FIR under the direction of the Supreme Court, why Mr. Shubhendu Adhikari should not be arrested in Narda case? Why again on the basis of an statement of an accused under judicial custody, Sudipto Sen, who wrote a letter to the magistrate and CBI saying that I have given him 6 crores because he extorted this money. Why Mr. Shubhendu Adhikari should be arrested? There lies the problem with these agencies. Are they working unbiasedly? The answer is clear, no.
Okay, so your allegation is that the agencies are only working against,
they are being directed
those who are
political
against the BJP.
To act against TMC and the opposition.
Okay. Agencies have been tasked with acting against the TMC in West Bengal. Shahzad Poonawalla, Professor Mondal is also saying that Anubrata Mandal had a very big role to play. That he stopped BJP from expanding its footprints, and that's why this is a political vendetta you're acting against.
If the agencies are so biased, why did they take action on Mr. Adhikari and on Mr. Partha Chatterjee? Secondly, when the courts of the law are remanding them or are directing CBI probes, then are the courts also acting in connivance with the BJP? And thirdly, I would suggest to my dear friend, instead of having a meltdown on TV, tomorrow take out a band for even Arpita and for Partha. Uske liye bhi band kar do kal. Because as per you, all of these people are the poster childs of piousness. So you tomorrow remove a march for Partha also and for Miss Arpita also. This is the same language. You remember the first day this entire scam, SSC scam started, and Times Now started its coverage, and they had called Manojit Mandal for a debate. He said exactly the same thing. This is all fake. Ye sab hamare khilaf sajish hai. Partha is very strong in his area. He has stopped the BJP. Therefore, the BJP is doing this. Today, they have sacked Partha. And today, the courts have sent Partha to jail. In fact, what all observations they've made, I don't want to speak about it. So, this is the same Manojit Mandal. Sirf wo leader badal jata hai, cassette same hai. Cassette of Manojit Mandal is same. Tomorrow, more people get arrested, same cassette will play.
Professor Mondal, please respond to that.
I can't really call my good friend a liar because that's not a very good word on TV, but I'll call again.
And it applies more to you.
I could, please, did I disturb you, sir? I could clearly remember we never ever defended that mountain of cash found in someone's house who has no connection with the party. The person who had connection with the party, even when the second bunch of cases were found, I personally said that this is a shameful thing. The next day action was taken. We cannot defend if there is even iota of distantly connected evidences. We believe in that case that was because we listened to the people's concerns, people's voice, and also had our own internal inquiry against this person, and we took action. Nevertheless, this person is not even charged with it. Partha Chatterjee, we have that level of moral standing. This party was built with the blood and toil of Mamata Banerjee. Now it is being handled by Abhishek Banerjee's able leadership. We cannot tolerate this individual
Shehzad
corruption.
Poonawalla,
Even
the allegation is that you don't act against your own. The agencies don't act against those who join the BJP, whereas TMC is leading by example in case of Partha Chatterjee.
Well, there have been several instances, and I can tell you at least 2 instances. BJP leader from Surat has been raided by ED. The BJP or some IT raids have taken place on close aides of Mr. Yediyurappa's son. So that is happening. Whoever there is evidence against, it happens. But if they are saying that this is selective, malified and malicious, in 8 years they could not prove in one case in court of law that this is selective, malicious and malified. If they had no participation in these scams, then till now they should have got 10 orders against the BJP and against the ED and against the CBI and against the institutions, saying that look, these institutions are being misused. But they can't get any orders from court. All that they do is they play this victimhood card every time there's a defense. And in fact, Mamata Banerjee is on record where she questioned the judiciary itself. She said that the judiciary is acting under influence. Now tell me, Mr. Monojit Mandal, today Mr. Anubrata Mandal has been remanded to jail. Has it been done without the courts of law applying their wisdom? Are you challenging the wisdom of the courts? Secondly, when Partha has been sent to jail, the courts have made observations, they have made strictures, they have made findings. Are you challenging the court of law? The court ordered 8 CBI probes in the SSC scam. Are the courts acting in a biased manner, in a vindictive manner? So in case after case, it is the courts, the high courts that are throwing your police out and saying CBI come in, or investigating agencies from the center come in.
Professor
Are you
Mondal
saying that the courts are biased?
Professor Mondal.
I think my friend is becoming extremely naive in saying that there is no order of the court as far as Shubhendu Adhikari, Hemant Bishra Sharma and Sharada case is concerned. There are definite orders from the Supreme Court. But why my friend is becoming deliberately naive is that the Supreme Court doesn't make an investigation. You have to have the investigating agency go after them. When in the same case, you are arrested different parties of political lineage, you are sparing them. And look at this classic example of Mr. Adhikari. When he was in TMC in 2016, they had this televised show from their party office saying that this man is taking money. That was not evidence, sir, for you. You showed it from your office. March 2016, I'm giving you the date. Probably 14 March 2016. From your party office in Calcutta showing that this is the cash Shubhendu Adhikari is taking. 2020, when he switched to your party, he has become completely washed up.
Okay, I'll take a counter on that, but Professor Mondal. Okay, I'll take a counter on that, but Professor Mondal, tell me something. Whether it is in case of Partha Chatterjee or Anubrata Mondal, the agencies will have to prove this. The charges that they are levelling against Partha Chatterjee or Anubrata Mondal in the court of law. So why are you giving a clean chit to Anubrata Mondal? Why are you jumping the gun and not waiting for the agencies to prove it in the court of law and wait for the court's verdict?
For a very simple common sense. First of all, cow trading in this country is not illegal. Cow trading, I mean, that's very much happening, broad daylight, everyone knows. But cow smuggling is an illegal act. It has to happen with the help of the central government. And Mr. Anubrata Mondal is no way connected to the central government. It's very simple common sense. You apply the common sense. And there is no evidence. Did you find any money under his kitty? Did you find any illegal property under his kitty? There's apparently no evidence. In other case that you're referring to, yes, we believe that though the money was not found in Partha Chatterjee's house,
what is common sense for you might be politics of convenience for someone else. What you're calling common sense, someone else might say this is politics of convenience, to call it political vendetta against an individual just because the central agencies are involved. And I have to wrap up, but before that, Shehzad Poonawalla, please respond to that charge that once somebody joins the BJP, they become taint-free.
These are the same personalities that Monojit Mandal in his earlier avatar used to come and defend and used to say there's no case against them. Now he's saying there is a case against them. If there is a case against them and if the agencies are not acting, why doesn't Mr. Mandal, one second Mr. Mandal, you, आजकल तो आप लोग Abhishek Singhvi को भी बुलाते हो case लड़ने, why don't you go to a court of law and present the evidence you have against those personalities and get an order against the same personalities? How come the High Court rejects all your allegations and says that the CBI must come in and probe, and they do not accept any of the allegations made by you or your government?
Okay,
how come in every case that happens?
Just 10-20 seconds.
I don't know why. There is an order of the Supreme Court against Mr. Adhikari.
Okay, all right. Professor Monojit Mondal and Shehzad Poonawalla, thank you very much for joining us. Mamata Banerjee has come out in support of Anubrata Mondal, has slammed the Home Minister, and in fact Mamata Banerjee has said it that in no uncertain terms that it was due to stopping the toppling of the government in Jharkhand and BJP's ouster from Bengal, that this political vendetta is playing out in West Bengal against the TMC leaders. Quick break with that.